My name is
Sounds
Morten
good.
Elvang. Welcome to Agility Lab and our special series on AI as a colleague. And this afternoon, Pekka, you're visiting, which is a real pleasure because I have only heard a few of your talks about AI, which I of course know that you work a lot with. But what really stuck with me was that you reminded us that it had an IQ at the level of a toaster. That's what I remember from Gothenburg. And I'm wondering if that's still a picture you're carrying with you. In any case, thank you so much for being here, and we really look forward to hear what you have to share.
All right. Thank you so much, Morten, for welcoming. I will try to share the screen here, and we can get started. And indeed, I was thinking that Agility Lab, so we will have a small agile angle in our talk, and we will talk about the word. Well, indeed, AI is a colleague. I mean, this is the interpretation that you see in many news media. And there was a company in San Francisco said that we have stopped hiring. We only hire AI these days. And so what does it mean? And what happens with agile? Those are the questions that I have been pondering lately. And I would like to share my thoughts. So the way we go today is I have some slides. We go through them. And then after we are done, we can then have a good half an hour of dialogue on what we have seen and where we are. So yes, first I have to correct the history, because even though I have said many things, not all of them have been true. So I gave a keynote talk in many years ago. This is back to 2008. Also, Tom was visiting Finland, often visiting Nokia. I remember those days. And I gave a talk around this time, a couple of weeks ago, came 20, is that 20, how many years, 17 years ago. I claimed that this is the end of Agile. Agile has died because it fails in so many ways. It fails. At the time, I said it fails conceptually, it fails philosophically, and it fails empirically. And there is a rise of professionalism in the horizon where happy, efficient, and profitable software organizations and the models are emerging. Well, I have to say that I was so wrong. The agile was not about ending; it was about getting steam into its engines, and then many things came. And even today, agile is like this. Agility Lab is demonstrating that is strong. It has now multiple facets, and AI is one of them, and Agile is still there, although the researchers have not yet been able to define what is Agile. I'm not sure even if that discussion is anymore alive. But fast forwarding to 2025, this year, a few years ago, generative AI came into our hands, and it made us all. It gave us powers and abilities that we didn't have before. And here I have I'm from Lapland in Finland, and this is there's a concept in Lapland, in Rovaniemi, city of Rovaniemi, where I come from. It's the fair of Rovaniemi, in Finnish Rovaniemi markkinat, and I have always wanted to see how Rovaniemen markkinat, the fair of Rovaniemi, was in 1935. So here with these tools, seems to be Google's Vio. I just recently gave a prompt, tried to describe a bit about the fair, and then let's see how Google's Vio sees 1935 Rovaniemi,
How much
Finland.
for these furs, my dear?
5 marks, no less.
Come on, dance with me.
And the guy actually disappeared very quickly. And here we have the situation. It looks, I mean, of course, if you haven't been to Rovaniemi, there's nothing in Rovaniemi even today that looks like this. And definitely in 1935, it was not like this. So I don't know where it gathered. But in a way, it describes the current state. It does something. We know it's biased because of the data, but we don't know exactly how it functions. Why does it is good in certain things, and why it's not so good in other things? And of course, hallucination is the key related to reliability and trustworthiness. How much we can trust on these systems in use. But the key that happened, the key element that happened in the past few years, because AI has been around since 1950s, we all know that, and but before it was hiding, so it was not visible. We were not having, even in software development, 80% of the software code was produced manually up until 22. And then it happened so that when the OpenAI published its ChatGPT, it gave us the user interface finally for the AI. So this is how the AI can be used, and that was let's say revolutionary. And as it's still the killer app with AI, is that you're able to actually have a dialogue. There has been killer apps, even keyboard, in 1960 was a killer app in software development, how software has been developed. But now we can actually talk with the machine, and then a few months later, March 4, 23, Einstein moved into all our cellars. Even if we don't have a cellar, Einstein is there. So it means that the GPT-4 language model that has studied the contents of 10,000 professions amazed us. So even the professor's profession, and I have been claiming for a couple of years now that already at that time, 23, the AI was able to do up 80% of my tasks as a professor. But then I claimed to my employer that I'm still 10,000 times more valuable because the 20% or 50% that the AI cannot do. And of course, the reason what we do is it's mostly manual things that I do in my work related to email, etc. But when you look at the questions that are now coming to our table, that are somehow relevant, and we should be starting to discuss. So in the age of AI, should we really rethink everything? Or is it more like an incremental shift capability, a tool that will alter the work but will not change that much? What happens to individual interactions when the team members actually are AI? And today we will see a so-called team member that is an AI when we look at the capabilities that we have. What are the concrete tasks that we can give the AI in software teams reliably to execute? And now that the sprint time that we have had has been 2 weeks, 3 weeks in the industry, what happens when it shrinks 2 minutes? So the sprint that used to take a few weeks actually just happens on the spot right now. When we talk about responsibility and trust, who is actually accountable for the decisions and errors? And these are the discussions that we are having right now and right today. And finally, what are the skills the developers should have so they remain valuable developers already in the future? What are the agile leaders starting building right now? And what is the AI Jill ready? If you want to have those capabilities, what are they? So my idea here is that now that since we have the Einstein in the cellar, so why don't we make the Einstein busy? We actually start looking for answer to these questions. And we know that there are a number of tools available. And so I'm thinking that because we don't have much time, maybe I just how do I get it? Here we go. So here, some of you might know Lovable. So it has changed the way we think about coding. So these are the no-code, low-code platforms of today. So let's ask it to develop something, and we can come back to see how it's doing. So we need a cool dashboard for our agile teams to see how they are doing in our organization. We want to see velocity and other metrics and related information that is relevant to agile coaches. Let's do it. I mean, I don't maybe want to say anything more. All right. So here we have Lovable starting to work. So this I gave the specification, and then it will start thinking. And let me see. Sure, I can enable all notification, and we will hear when it goes. So it takes about 17 seconds. So this is the time Lovable took to think about my requirements. And then he started to creating the agile coaching dashboard with velocity trend, sprint burn down progress, all the things that we want to see. And then there's some design theme. All right, so that's good. We have something happening. We can come back to this to see how Lovable is doing. And like everything in this world, they cost about $20 a month and enable us to do systems in a super rapid speed. And where does this all lead? And so at the big picture, what we want to do, we are now firmly in the exploration phase, trying to understand how we can benefit from these tools. Evidently, it will lead to cost savings and productivity improvements. So if we do everything right or in a good way, we will save money. But that's only the starting point. So we should be striving for having ability to come up with new ways of providing value to our customers, even to the end that I call that we are in a place where IKEA in Sweden is, or in the world, that they have unfair advantage over the competitors, or even could say that they have temporary monopoly, so that it's hard to do as much or as well as in their business model. So that's the idea of where with the let's say AI powered work should be taking you. But then we noticed that, hey, come on, we have been doing this couple of years, and MIT report says 95% of the AI pilots are failing. Well, if somebody would turn the second page in the report, they would say that 95% of the pilots have trouble, or it's hard to show how much more money did you generate. What's the bottom line? So that is the difficult part. It doesn't mean that they were failing per se. But indeed, there's a huge AI bubble at hand. So the expectations have skyrocketed, and there's a lot of investment being, and that of course tells us that those expectations will not be met. Indeed, the theme of the day is to put the AI agents in the process, and I will show exactly how that works in a few minutes in another demo, and we will see that there is those are not so easy to replace. And where are we then? Where are we in many companies? I call this a bit of like co-pilot prison, in a way that often companies have certain tools they use, and Copilot is an example. And here I'm starting with my PowerPoint presentation. I want to change the slide orientation, and for some reason Copilot is refusing to do this. But when you meet these kind of obstacles often enough, you get discouraged. And bosses are demanding that there's a huge productivity increase, and you don't see it. And this is where we start losing the momentum. So 2 words about my team. Here's the leadership team in my group. We are about 50 researchers, and I have 1-minute video. We can take a look so you see what we are doing actually and where my research actually comes from.
That escalated quickly, didn't it? Well, that's kind of our thing. We are the GPT Lab. Born in Finland, human-centered, AI-obsessed. Founded in May 2023, we are a large group of professors, postdoctoral researchers, and doctoral researchers. And also thousands of AI agents. So far, we have secured millions in research funding, and we have become one of the largest large language model research groups in Europe.
And we move fast because AI won't wait. We don't stop at theory. We teach, we build, we deploy. Our focus: large language models, generative AI, and software engineering.
We study how AI changes everything from industries to societies.
And we work closely with EU AI Act, helping companies stay compliant, ethical, and future ready. We work hand in hand with companies and universities. We don't just partner, we integrate into your teams.
This is GPT Lab, a new kind of research team. A launchpad for real-world AI, built by people who care about the humans in the loop.
From Seinäjoki to Ghana, from Tampere to Brazil,
We're growing a global Gen AI footprint.
we don't do red tape. We build, adapt, and move, with the people shaping what comes next.
We are GPT Lab.
All right. And we have been busy lately, so we have been securing, as I said in the video, quite a bit of money. And then, interestingly, when we are now have dedicated a little bit so that we are a bit strategic in our communication. So it looks like we are doing quite well when you look at the LinkedIn metrics, and we just bypassed MIT, which I'm pretty proud that if in any metric you bypass MIT, so we still have to beat ETH. In Zurich, but that's something to look forward in the future. We also look at the let's say the evil side of the AI. So what you should not be doing with AI, and we have there are about 1 million language models in Hugging Face, and most of them are without any guardrails. So you can bring them in and do nasty stuff with them, and that's of course something that comes as a surprise for many. And of course, there are misuses of AI at hand today. This is from the researchers, so researchers never used the word delve until ChatGPT came, and now everybody's delving into something. At least if you look at the papers, and then you see weird things happening. And just laughable, or how lazy researchers can be. If you look at the first sentence, you see that this is an AI-generated chapter, and you could actually remove that if you do that. So this kind of a phenomena is taking place right now. But something that we don't think about from the dark side as software developers. There's a new type of phenomena developing. It's called software sabotage, and it has been there always. But now you can, with the help of generative AI, you can do quite nasty things inside the company, and that's something that we are now looking into. What does that mean? You can. Genetically modify Git history, up a year, and then it looks like you have done a lot of work, although you haven't basically done anything. So these are the things that are now emerging, and of course, jailbreaking is another thing. So basically, any language model can be broken. So whatever guardrails we built, they can be challenged, and we have systems for this as well. But hey. I will not talk about that. I will say 2 words about the EU AI Act, because it is regulating the way we work. And this is key, because we should have a way to understand what can be done. We don't see often this for our benefit, but it's very simple on the high level. You have the things you cannot do, you have things, and these are unacceptable risk, and you have the things that are minimal risk. And in between, you have the limited risk and high risk. And this is, of course, how much red tape you have to put into the development. And but companies are struggling because we have these 100 and 1,500 pages of help in the internet. We have, how to understand where you are. Even simple things become hard. So here's a very simple idea of a product, and we don't know whether we can develop it and what can we do with it. So here's the pitch. So here we want to reduce the waste in the cafeteria from the lunch, so we can put an AI in the box, and to see whether you actually can. Whether people throw food away, and if they don't, you give a small reward, and if they do throw away, you don't do anything, so there's no punishment, and you only look at the hands or you only look at the plates, so there's no biometric recognition. So the thing here is that, can you do it? And if you can, what does it mean? I mean, what do we still have to do even if we can do it, and what is the risk level? So the problem we are facing right now is that it takes forever in a company, in anything a bit bigger companies, at least 2 to 4 weeks. Just this simple example. And if it's a highly or complex system, it will take even half a year, even more, just to get an understanding where do we stand and what should we do. So here is the help that we did in the age of AI. So we wrote a book like in the old days with lawyers, but the book is not enough. You have to actually turn the book in as an AI, and finally people can interact with that. So I will just so if you take this tinyurl.com/PekkaAct2, you will actually be able to access this GPT agent, and you can have a dialogue what you want to do with that. I will not actually go there with the interest of time, but you should take a look at it, and you can ask whether you can do this system that I just introduced, and then we can discuss, does it make sense? So it works, it's out there, and please try it out. tinyurl.com/PekkaAct2, and then you can access that. And I will not say too much, but at the end of the day, we are still in a place where with the capability of these very smart looking AIs is, in my world, that they are still at the level of toaster. And they have problems with the memory, with the improvement, with the reliability. This is where we stand today. So we have not found solutions for the basic core problems with working with the AI. I will just say one thing about my background. I had the honor to be a professor in several universities, also in Norway and in Italy. And an anecdote from the Italian side, because as a government employee, theoretically my superior was Silvio Berlusconi at the time, but he was very busy in those years doing something else. But that's a side story. This year I had the honor to be chosen as AI Researcher of the Year here in Finland, which I'm very proud of. We wrote a book last year on generative AI, and typically I would love to recommend buying books, but here I have to say that this is a bit outdated, and it kind of tells us how fast things are developing. This is talking about how AI can be used for effective software development, but since we use the models of the time, so these are GPT 3.5, maybe a little bit of GPT-4, so they are actually not so interesting today because the field has taken a shift to the next level. And of course, the next level is agentic AI. So here is a book actually I recommend, Pascal Bornet and his team. So how to reinvent business. What I like about this book is because it gives you the language that the bosses understand. So it has this business language in it to kind of can translate the technical agentic thinking in tangible use cases. So when I said we are getting started, we are just getting started. So we still have the art. It's still today is artificial narrow intelligence, and all the great things that will come, they are somewhere in the future, and we are not seeing that happening right. So we are now going fast, but it's still incremental. And manual labor is the thing that most often we find ourselves doing. I will come back to that by showing that. So the transformation goes through 4 stages. We are firmly still now getting rid of the AI assistant level. AI assistants have been striking success. So we have many sort of assistants around us, but they are making us happy, but they are not making the organization being more productive, producing more valuable products. When you put them in the processes, we start seeing new things. And of course, our customers are demanding that there is capability, AI capabilities are in the products. And of course, the key thing what we should talk about in Europe is how to create new business. What are the things that we can do now that we were not able to do before? This is start of 24, 500 AI assistants out there. It was amazing to see all those things already happening. By end of last year, this is like 1 year ago, the number is 2,150 AI assistants. And most often us are a bit stuck with, let's say, a few vendors that are being used. And I see that that's a challenge. There is loads of great things out there. We should be aware of them, where they are going. And here's a list of just 50 at a certain point in time. And of course, there are new. So for example, Lovable is not here. So this is a bit outdated in that sense. But hey, this is the point in the presentation that I want to show is that we have 6 levels when we want to put the, let's say, increase the agentic capabilities so that we would have autonomous agent at the end of the ladder. And we are when we are completely manually operating in today's digitalized world, it means that we are stuck with Word, Excel, and email. And this is actually quite many people are here, and quite many organizations are still struggling with getting things going forward. We have rule-based automation is something we have had for a long time, and intelligent process automation is when you start getting some copilot action, Outlook predicting replies, have inbox, not everything is shown, but a bit more focus. So this is the level that already exists and many places where we find. And then we have the agentic workflow, which is the highest point in where we are standing right now. So it can execute multiple step workflows, and we don't have to supervise too much about them. And the last 2, self-driving autonomous agents and fully autonomous agents, they are just in the marketing talk today. So we don't have them in operation, although many claim to provide these services, but they are not real yet. They are, and we have a look at what does it actually mean in software development. So when we take a look at the agentic AI in practice, and now I will show you an example of a simple workflow that is, and let's, by the way, while we are here, let's publish this and let's make it run because we had, remember the Einstein was working, so this was lovable. And now it's working to publish the, so we developed it. Did we get it? It's still publishing, maybe taking, let's come back to see what it's doing. Or yes, so you just shipped. So actually we have the system here. So this is physically running in this web address, Agile Coach dashboard, monitor team performance and health. And you can see that there are teams, velocity, cycle time, sprint call. Of course, this is fake data because this is we didn't give any data. We could now connect it to some backend and continue. But this could be an interesting dashboard thinking that for an organization. So this is, and we could give some further activity, like I just maybe would not do it. I will go to the workflow now, and now I will show you the. So here's the tool. It's called N8N. It's one of the agentic workflow tools. You can build automated workflows. And here on the bottom, you can see that there are some active workflows that are running. So I will just take one and I will click it and open to see what is the workflow all about. I will start executing it right away so that I can then explain. So basically this is my own workflow. It's about getting media hits. So whenever my name is mentioned in the internet, I should know about whether it's in a positive, negative context, where somebody said, who said it. And this is quite an example of a service that many companies offer. And now with the low-code, no-code platforms such as N8N, and there are many others, you can automate these kind of workflows yourself. And this is, of course, in software engineering, you have many, many workflows that can be automated equally, but this is like a generic example. And now we see the agent here physically in the middle of a process. And what does it make it an agent and it's not an assistant? Well, it's part of the workflow. You have a chat mode, so you basically can interact with the agent. You can decide which language model it uses. Now I use OpenAI's chat model. And it has memory. I haven't activated it, so you can actually make it remember. So it is not like a goldfish, so that it would forget every time you talk to it. And finally, you decide, and this is critical in, let's say, AI agent thinking, that you give access to tools. So here it just has one tool, but it could have a number of different tools that it has access to. So you decide the agent's capability. And if you open the agent, then you can see the instructions of how the agentic behavior has been. So the agent can decide based on the conditions. So it doesn't have to be the same workflow that actually does. And when it's done, you can see now it's moving on. So it's actually saving the results, and the other agent is composing the email, and then we receive the email here. And we can take a look at here. I believe. I think that we can just quickly. Okay, let's not start signing, but so we don't take a look at the results right now. But at the end of the day, I can see the updated table where the actual results of the search were saved. So that's how that worked out. So the question now that we have the agentic AI, we see that we can put it in the process, we can give tasks, it does. And it's an interesting tool because it's an open source tool. So you can put it inside the company. You don't have to, let's say, rely. You are not locked by the vendor. But that's like besides the point. There are many other tools as well. And so the tool is not the thing. It's the idea and what level of automation we talk about. So when we talk about software development, and I will start now closing in a few minutes. We have from the completely manually writing the code, we go to the rule-based automation. We have CI/CD pipelines where tests run automatically, but developers have to interpret the test failures, write the code. So this is we have gone beyond this. GitHub Copilot works so that humans still review suggestions and implement solutions. And when we go to the more interesting levels, the agents can explain their reasonings. The developer still plays a major role, and the agents don't act independently. And this is the level where we are. When we have the self-driving autonomous agents, they actually work so that the engineers are notified of the actions taken, and they can roll back of the things. So the codes are refactored automatically. And finally, we have a fully autonomous agents, which, as I said, doesn't exist yet. But this is my the last bit of my presentation is that. So what? And here I'm thinking like agile viewpoint is that what are the what agile coaches, agile developers might be interested to. What type of data to collect and what type of here I say dudes, but who should we hire to help us? So here's a Sarah Sprint Sentinel, Sprint Health Monitoring and Alerts, automated retrospective insights, compliance aware story assessment. You can automatically scan user stories for regulatory keywords, flag items, missing compliance criteria, etc. So you can automate and bring the agentic help in many places. And there are dependency mapping, risk detection, automated coaching playbooks. So there are plenty of opportunities. And finally, if we run out of opportunities, there is 50 more. So there is the imagination is what stops us from doing more. And that's my punchline here. So there are plenty of opportunities. And in 2 days in Tampere, so for Morten as well, we are having the Oliopäivät here, where the full program on generative AI. So welcome everybody to visit us, and you can find the address. But with those words, I like to conclude my presentation, and I say thank you for watching, and I'm happy to start discussing with you about your thoughts and questions. And I will stop my sharing now. So thank you.
Thank you, Pekka. Wow, that was a blast. So one line. What is it? Where are we with this AI as a colleague? Are we getting less busy, more busy? Is it slowing us down, speeding us up? Is it like?
Well, there is. I have two answers. So one, there's no going back. Some companies are having this. They use, for example, Copilots, Microsoft Copilot, GitHub Copilots, and they have advanced tooling. And they have limits of using it, so they can only use the best models to some point and every month they run out of them. So the developers are working so that they realize that, hey, I ran out of these tokens. I cannot use the best models.
Yeah.
And then the last week of the month, they are trying to figure out what do they do at work. I mean, how do they? So they are optimizing, trying to do the work so they are saving the token use so that they could work the full month. So these are providing. We know that software developers are people who are never satisfied about anything, but here is a tool set that we have no option but to go forward. So when you say that, where are we with the AI as a team member, we are stuck with it.
Yeah.
It is there, and it's has become a critical element of the work. We don't survive without it.
Okay. So do you know Sandeep Paul Chaudhry, who wrote the book called Reshuffle? Have you come across him?
Educate me, please.
Well, I'll just make the point. So he actually just made the point a few days ago that within a few months we will feel silly of thinking of AI as a colleague, because he really thinks that it's about infrastructure for creating simulations, the work environment in which we work. So like not the colleague, but something that makes our work more effective, more efficient, as another layer or another platform that we work on top of. And I'm not sure I can get my head around it. I'm super curious to hear what do you see. So do you see it still like agents, people holding hand, Or do you see this is like a middle phase where everybody's confused at another level, but we will get out of it into something else?
We are like from the marathon. We have just run like 150 meters, and we are already discussing like how does it feel to do the whole thing, and so we are really in the beginning, and of course, I mean, I'm not gonna hold hands with toaster. So I mean, it's some people go to kitchen and start holding toaster. I'm not that person. So the toaster doesn't understand what it does. So it doesn't understand it's doing the code. There's no so it's not sentient. So it doesn't have any meaning in it. We give the meaning to this, and it's very effective. And the great thing is that it has this. That we don't understand exactly how it works like that. Why are the reasoning capabilities in certain area better than the other area? And so we have already agreed that there is a black box in our development environment, and we cannot reliably say that why did it produce that output and not this one. And that's of course a challenge right now because the amount of software is just growing so rapidly.
Or it's a new form of emergence and synchronicity, meaning that you don't really know what's going on, but you can count on it in weird ways.
And emergent properties are the way things actually emerged. So there are capabilities that were there and they were not planned, or they were anticipated that something will happen, but it was not sure exactly what. And now if everything would stop the development right now, for the next 10 years we would have plenty of things to do. Now that Tom is here, of course, the Blanguas, the method that Tom introduced in his great book some years ago, now we have a way to put that also in use. We have these tools help us do things that that require a lot of human labor and effort. And I think that's great, and we should learn to use them effectively now, and of course learn to learn for the future.
Tom just messaged me that he's in the car, so he probably will not be able to respond. But he actually did some of that work, and we even have a recording of the presentation where he talks about it.
Excellent.
Let's open it up. Thank you, Pekka. Any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I wrote a question in the chat. I can read it aloud. So thank you, by the way. Very, very interesting, Pekka. So in your perception, what do you think it will take for AI to move from this low IQ at the level of a toaster to, let's just say, the level of an oven, just to say something? I mean,
I love this.
what am I?
Yeah.
You know, I'm very curious. What to look for? What do I need to look for in order to know that now the IQ of AI has increased? Because I've been, following and working with AI for quite many decades, and I'm not really sure. I mean, it's only zeros and ones, right? So, and I haven't really seen the level of IQ increase that much, and you confirm that. So what will I look for? What do you think? I mean, we don't know, but what do you think?
Well, I think that we need the current architecture does not enable so that it would become aware of itself. So it's not built into this. And for me, the signs of this increased IQ probably are because now all the models are hybrid in a way that they are so there's mixed expertise, so that there's not only language model but they are combination of different things. So they have become smarter, and but they're not still solving the basic problem. So they become smarter, but I'm not sure whether they and a little bit more reliable, but they are still by design. there is a certain unreliability built into it, and I'm thinking that so it lacks the ability to improve itself, which is a key expectation. So when we have we have just three problems to solve. So we have problem with the memory, so it doesn't remember. It's very hard to make it remember for like a longer period of time. That's one thing. We have a hard time making it improve itself so that it would actually learn from the practice reliably, so that it's, this doesn't work, I do this much better next time. And then so if we are able to fix these basic things, then those are also will make it closer to be at the level of what we will call AGI, artificial general intelligence, that it would work as a reliable companion. But would it still be like, would we call it more intelligent? That's the question that we debate.
Thank you.
I have a question I just have to ask you, Pekka. It's a personal hunch, and so you know these PI plannings, the big room plannings, and the red pieces of thread that people do because they found things that they have to remember to talk about. So you can say that's a way of checking the inner consistency of like the work people are doing. And I somehow think the inner consistency question is simpler than other forms of logic questions, because you just check that there's something not adding up. There is like a piece of information missing, or there is too much. There is like you need to remove something for it to be consistent again. And from what I understand today, we have the technology. Maybe we don't have the compute and the data capacity to do it because it's very hard. But in principle, you could do that computation on an organization's work and weed out what you would call false complexity, meaning someone thinking they have something but they don't, or maybe some things being too much compared to what is needed. Is that something you see as well, meaning that this capability could then help you actually do significant parts of the planning and the coordination that you typically do with things like big room plannings and other agile ceremonies?
Well, of course, I'm thinking that the key point is access to knowledge. So where does the knowledge that the AI basically has, where does it come from? And when we when it speaks the company language, when it knows the history, of course, we don't have such a situation where we actually would have access to all the emails, all the diagrams, everything that is out there. That would, of course, be a dramatic shift in its ability to speak the language of the company. And I think that's where we will start seeing a lot of troubles, of course, because it's also that not all information should be accessible, and it should be just that the organization remains that it can function also. So I see that's an unknown. I don't see. I can speculate, but it's hard to see the world yet as what are the emergent things that are happening then. And I think that but Agile will go strong in the future because Agile is in the people. And I think people are now getting much better. Now we finally have tools and capabilities that we didn't have before. And I think that's something that it's great. And finally, we have ability to actually, I mean, what I've been thinking is a lot is that that we as organizations we function quite effectively during the daytime. So let's say from 8 in the morning up until 5 in the afternoon. But what about the marginal hours? So what can we do so that we make the organization really work effectively 24 hours? So when Morten and me go for a beer after work, the agentic AI system would continue doing something. And we have built all kinds of experiments on, for example, I can make here agents to discuss and debate about a topic. And I would expect that in the morning when I come back from work, where they have been burning so much energy because it's language model, it burns electricity, uses electricity and water to produce the output. It gets stuck very fast. So the dialogue doesn't get further. It's just going around and around and around. So if you force, for example, AIs to do a task and you say that you have to use 10 rounds to do that, and it gets done in a few rounds, the rest of the time it's just because it's trained in human behavior, they start thanking each other. Oh, it has been so wonderful to work with you. We should meet one day. Let's go for lunch. So what? Who is going for lunch? AI with another AI. What will they eat? Where will they go? So it's so bizarre. But so that's kind of something that I'm looking forward when we are able to put the marginal hours in use, so that they would be actually building, doing, and that would resonate to the organization, of course, quite broadly as well.
Any more questions, comments? So then I have one more for you then, Pekka. So
Thomas Herna did ask a question, if I read it here from the... So there's a question from Thomas, thank you. I have a question. How would you use AI as a colleague if starting in a new job in an unknown environment? And I say I have no clue. I don't know. Thomas, you have to open the mic and elaborate a bit more on if you want to get a better answer, because I have...
Hey, do you hear me?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, just imagine the situation, starting a new job, new environment. How would you use AI, to get you speed up the onboarding maybe, or, help you during this complicated process?
That's a good question, because of course the onboarding has been a use case with the AI. So that we still have things called intranet, and they should be banned. It's the last place where anything can be found. Or the intranet should be done in a way that you can actually ask and discuss with the company knowledge. And that's part of the onboarding, is that you can actually get information, understand the processes, understand how things are done. And we do have still so many crazy things in our organizations. In Tampere University, every month we insert the hours. We have 5,000 people who are inserted the hours in the system, and 10%, 500 makes mistakes. It's a process that costs about 125 to 150,000 euro every month just to get the hours in. And we organizations, we have approved this kind of a situation, and that's what I called, of course, the long tail of software legacy. So we will have these, what I call funny behavior going to the future. But definitely we should make the organization knowledge available, and intranet and these things is part of the onboarding. And then you can do organization can do a bit fancier GPT to help, so you can actually have conversations. The AI assistants work really well, and we know this. Leise is raising her hand.
Yeah, one last question. I've seen this before, that AI will imply unfair advantage, and I don't understand. Could you elaborate a little? It was on one of your first slides on
Indeed.
model.
So that you are able to benefit, and because the organizations are still made of people who are benefiting and using the AI, so that you are able to come up with, let's say, new ideas and new ways of delivering the value. And then you get to the place where the other organizations, they can try to copy what you are doing, but because of the humans in the organization, you cannot copy the processes. This we have known for years and years. So the unfair advantage is that unlike the others, we have been able to harness the AI to help ourselves. So we have been able to build these agentic workflows, so that we have been able to create what is called agency. So this is what is called AI native startups these days. So that it's not the startup that has to hire 15 people or 20 people to work, but they can actually start with few people, 2, 3, even 4, and they can grow the revenue up to $100 million, and they can run much bigger operation than even a bigger company can, because they have been able to harness the AI to help them in innovating, ideating. For example, I didn't show you this because I think these days everybody knows about that, but with every common AI tool, just such as ChatGPT, you have deep research capability. So if you asked it to do deep research, it will do a task that typically would take a week or 2 weeks from a PhD student, and it will execute that task in 15 minutes. So, and often companies are using that to find the market niche, so that they are trying to find where their product produces the value, where is the gap in the market we should be striving for. And they are using these deep research capabilities. And that's something that you can, how to do that, that's a skill that you develop. These are the new skills that are there. And it's unfair means temporary. So it's a temporary monopoly. You are there, you are ruling, you are getting things done, but others are catching up. But unless you're IKEA, nobody catches up with IKEA. IKEA is, and the way it goes that if you, so there's no other company like IKEA in the world with the same model of that you have to carry the purchases, and you have to spend all evening putting them together, and even eat Swedish meatballs in the shop. That model doesn't exist with other companies, but they have been highly successful for years. Unfair advantage, yes, big thing.
Yeah, we are a lot of husbands out there who think that one IKEA is more than enough. So maybe that's why. Pekka, thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin, for inviting.
Anything we can do for you?
I keep organizing these. I love it, and I think this is a good way of getting people together to discuss on these contemporary topics, as I would say. Thank you so much.
That's appreciated. Thank you so much for taking time to being here, and thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
Let's close with this.
Bye.
Bye-bye.